Welcome to the Emerging Lawyer series at the Coffee Conversation Show, powered by the Emerging India Forum TEIF and a tech partner, Prime Infotech Solution. Theme is AI, media, and the future of law. We have with us Nayona Roy, founder of the AI Lawby, and a leading legal consultant specializing in AI, media, and technology law. With a dynamic career spanning top-tier law firms, legal innovation in FMCG conglomerates, the founder of a legal tech startup, and holding high the flag of AI governance frameworks, Noena has been at the forefront of shaping legal strategies for the AI driven world. She has had a vast experience as a partner at Dentist Link Legal in media and AI, and head of legal at Gyuki, co founder of Unsuit, and another hat, co author of ebook on art law. So, welcome, Noena, to today's coffee conversation.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
So, friends, we are at AWFI's co-working space, and let me show you the format and the flow. Nayana, it is divided into three parts: professional journey, personal, and there is fun round, the rapid fire, for which you have to be witty, fun, and quick. And here's your gift.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
We'll shoot it later. So it has been autographed. I know you have to first crack it, then you get your gift.
Okay.
So, friends, I'm Lion Amir Virani, host at Coffee Conversation and legal tech evangelist at Prime Infotech Solution, author of 15 books. We help law firms, corporate legal, startup SMEs with world-class technology, software licensing, and tech training solutions. So, my first question, Noena, how has your journey shaped up, and what has been your key defining moments?
Oh, there have actually been many. And how the journey has shaped up, I would say, in one word, has been extremely accidental. Even though I wanted to be a corporate lawyer since I was 14, and I wanted to be head of legal by the time I was 30, both of which, by God's grace, happened. I pursued law through National Law School, Delhi, graduated in 2014, and the last 11 years have really been a very diverse journey. It's been it started with mergers and acquisitions at AZB and Partners, then moved on to the in-house space, which is where I found my true calling. I loved being at the forefront of, being the lawyer as well as the client, and that's what an in-house journey really does for you. Started that with Unilever as an in-house counsel for UP, based in Lucknow, handling about approximately 100 litigations, including very high-risk personal liberty litigations, as well as regulatory issues such as the Noodle MSG case, which had just come up within a few days of me joining. Then moved on to a national litigation role in Godrej, a similar role but with an added portfolio of insecticides, which brought in its own challenges. The next move was again within the FMCG industry, but in a completely different portfolio, which was national contracts management with Coca-Cola, Hindustan Coca-Cola beverages. That's when COVID had hit, and while I'd spent some amount of time in Coke, it had been 8 years in the FMCG industry, and I realized that it's time to move towards the startup economy, which was really booming during COVID. Move to something which was more tech driven. And as luck would have it, the second dream also came true. I became head of legal at QKey. And I think that has been one of the most defining moments for me, not because of the designation, but because of the work portfolio. And I got the chance to work on IP. I had never worked on IP before, other than trademark raids, which I had done in the FMCG sector. But this was a startup which was co-founded by A.R. Rahman, Shekhar Kapoor, and the late Sameer Bangara, managing 300 plus artists at a time when the TikTok ban had just happened and we had to transition artists to other mediums. At a time when COVID was making it difficult to create content, but content consumption was also going up at the same time. So I think I had the opportunity of becoming a part of the burgeoning creator economy back then. Um, and yes, I think that was one of the most important parts of my journey. During that time is also when NFT boom happened, and I realized that, I mean, my company had a lot of faith in me, and they said, "Why don't you, pick that up as a business line and try and integrate that into solutions that we come up with for our clients." Wrote a white paper on that, realized that that's a space that I really like. Technology is a space that I really like. So I became a consultant with QK and started building my own legal tech startup, which was Unsuit Technologies. Got funded by Antler, a venture capital fund. Then sold it to my co-founder eventually, and moved on to becoming a lawyer once more. Joined Denton's Link Legal as the partner for AI media technology to build the TMT practice and the AI practice for India. Became a member of their global AI and media advisory groups. Um, but I think I realized, and that's also when I wrote this book on art law. Um, I connected with Rishi Raj Sethi from Aura Art at an event, and we had a very passionate conversation about art, which both of us enjoyed. And that's what led us to writing this book together, um, under the banner of Denton's, of course. But I realized that there's a lot more that I can do for the creator economy as a solo lawyer, and that's what I do. I'm a legal consultant, legal and strategic consultant to the creator economy.
That's impressive. So let's dive deep into the conversation, Nayana. Your journey has taken you across corporate law, media, and AI. What has been your most rewarding professional experience so far?
Um, I think there have been multiple rewards, but the very fact that I have been able to dive super deep into AI, and I've been able to pick up new things, I think almost every day itself has been the most rewarding part of the journey. So I've moved from litigation, national, regional, to media, to IP, to tech. And I think that itself is the most rewarding element, to be able to come up, to be able to dive super deep into something new. And I think if I had to point out to one, it would be art law, because artists are so close to my heart, that of any kind, performing visual, that working with them, and that's what I do every day today. I'm fortunate, is truly rewarding.
Wow. So let's come back to your present journey. What inspired to specialize in AI law, and what the story behind your new venture, the AI Lobby?
Right. I I think my interest in AI came when I started a legal tech product, and that was the time when AI was booming. We were being powered by AI. That's when I got to learn about how AI really functions, not just as a lawyer, but also as a tech person, as an entrepreneur, as a techpreneur. That's what led to the interest in AI. Then I enrolled for the IAPP course on AI governance, um, which so I've completed the course, about to give the exam soon. Um, Joined Denton's at that point, with my experience as a founder and having delved into technology of various sorts, deep tech primarily. And that's when I realized that in India, we are still at a very nascent stage when it comes to governance of AI. Everyone is using it, it's the new fad. But very few people are actually using the real AI. It's mostly machine learning that they're using. And the second thing is, it comes with a host of challenges, and it is the future of tomorrow. The AI lobby was born out of this burning desire to specialize, because in India, um, it's every law firm, every enterprise focuses on generalists. But I think the world over, there's a need for specialization. And AI is that one space where you need to have a sector focused laser focused approach. And that's why the AI lobby. The content is written by me and my intern, and we vet it collectively, and we take 100% responsibility for what we put out, and that's our USP.
Wow. So, Nayana, how is AI transforming legal workflows and lawyer productivity?
I think it's going to be a while before it can really transform, but I think, and I think that the major challenge there is the access to data, because lawyers deal with phenomenal amounts of confidential data. And while we also had a lot of design partnerships with leading firms, boutique firms, etc., getting diverse data was an extremely big challenge, which is why the AI models that came up or have come up have been fairly biased. But and as a result of that, the accuracy level has been impacted. But what I do think AI is capable of doing is optimizing efficiency in terms of small aspects. What legal tech companies need to do today is to pick up a small area of law and focus on that. It might take time to build, but constantly pivoting between even litigation and contracting, or pivoting within litigation from, say, negotiable instruments to IP, is not going to help. But if you're able to solve completely for one specific area, just check bouncing cases, for instance, or just artist contracts, for instance, that's going to be a game changer.
Wow. So, how do you see intellectual property laws adapting to AI generated content?
That's a question that has been bogging me down a lot, and it's the one thing that I've been writing about a lot. um, I think AI generated content makes us question whether the existing IP laws are even sufficient to deal with technology as it's evolving. um, I am completely in support of art evolving, picking up new things, and being able to use technology, but there has to be a process of licensing the original content. And I'm a huge advocate of that. Every artist today says, oh, it's just one contract, we don't need to think about AI. But your voice, your personality, your mannerism, even the, so for instance, Shah Rukh Khan's iconic hand movement, all of that gets fed into AI and can be fed into AI. And your voice, for a voice artist, for instance, they will not even be needed if they don't keep a track of whether AI is being trained on their voice or not. So I think licensing of personality rights and licensing of content for training AI models is very critical, even if you look at it from the democratization of data point of view.
Wow. Okay. So, Noena, how do we balance AI innovation with regulatory compliance?
That's something that's been a key question globally, not just in India. And I think the interesting point of view there is that AI has blurred geographic borders.
Yes.
If we see the ANI versus OpenAI case, this is probably the first time in Indian history when people have been flocking to become parties to a case. And there have been impediment applications on either side of the case, which is super interesting. So obviously, people are the stakeholders involved, whether it's innovators on one hand or artists and creative professionals on the other hand, are both very concerned about the future. The only way is self-governance, because the pace at which AI is evolving, it's a classic case of the Collingridge dilemma, where the pace of evolution of technology is outpacing uh, regulatory changes, and it will always outpace regulatory changes, because by the time a bill is passed in the parliament, AI has already gone 10 steps further. The only way to go about this and to continue the artist creator economy is really for AI to be self regulated, the usage of AI to be self regulated. Enterprises who are music generators, art generators, script generators need to be conscious of this and gain artist confidence. Because if new art is not created, what will you train your AI on?
Wow. Okay. Let's go memory down the lane. Can you share an example of a complex AI related legal case you have worked on?
Oh, there hasn't been any legal case as such. We've worked, I mean, India has just faced its first case. But I think the AI issues that have come up in recent matters that I have dealt with clients is in the contracts. A voice artist that I was working with had to lend his voice for a 2-minute commercial, and our negotiation on the AI clause went on for like a good 1.5 hours, simply because at some point the brand or the agency wanted to use the voice to create further content. The other is when you have product marketing where people are legitimately giving their voices, giving their face, etc. And that actually helps because it helps both the artist and the agency in terms of time, cost, all of that. So I think the complexities are more in the nuances. I don't think it's in the big picture as yet.
Wow. So, Nayana, are there any international models of AI regulation that India can learn from?
Oh, yes, the EU AI Act. And the most important aspect of that is risk classification, which is something that I am 100% in sync of. And the other thing is, I think from a regulatory standpoint, it's really time for lawyers, regulators, lawmakers to adopt a tech first approach themselves. Gone are those days when we can sit back and say, oh, we are lawyers, we are not going to look at tech. That's not going to work. You have to dive in to see at what point the user input is going out, what point an output is mirroring it, how the data is being trained, the model is being trained on the data, what kind of data is being fed in, what volume of data is being fed in, whether the data is biased or not. It is extremely important to go through the entire user journey and the tech journey, the data journey. And the other part is risk classification. The amount of risk in a Ghibli image is definitely far lesser than the risk in an automatic vehicle, which might crash and cause loss to human life.
Wow. So, thank you for bringing in Ghibli. Uh, now, people, news feeds are feeding in try Ghibli, what is Ghibli doing,
Right.
and people are getting gullible. So, what will be the consequences like business owners, leaders, students, so many politicians, they are trying the Ghibli art. So,
Right.
uh, where will be cyber hackers? It will be an open field for them. And
Yes.
how will a law protect them?
Right. I think that's a very interesting point. The key question here is not whether it's a Ghibli, or now you also have the same thing for Indian folk art. So you can turn your image into a kalamkari design. But the key question here is the image accuracy. And if you just do a random check on Reddit, you cannot imagine the number of issues people are talking about where they say that, oh, a genuine artist is saying, I don't think my art is good enough because it's not the same as what AI generates. So it's redefining the art world for sure. But I think the bigger question here is accuracy of image generation. Today, we are already facing issues in terms of Aadhaar cards being replicated, passports being replicated. So, cyber theft, cyber hacking is the biggest challenge that I foresee from this. So, again, if we do not self regulate, it is going to become a problem. So, for instance, if a businessman is putting up his image as a Ghibli image, the AI model or the AI company on which they are creating that image needs to ensure that data privacy is ensured. They need to take all precautions to even to indemnify them if their image gets used elsewhere. There have to be provisions technically for not being able to download it, not being able to copy it, not being able to templatize it. I put out a lot of content on AI Lawby. In the recent past, I've heard people sending me DMs saying, "Can you just give me a picture of this?" And of course, I'm aware about it to not send it. There might be someone who does send it. And that is the beginning of the end.
Wow. So, Nayona, what are some misconceptions about AI and law that you often come across?
That AI it's a long way off before legal issues come up in AI. I think we are sitting on a bubble that's about to burst. So let's be real about this. This is this is something that's going to threaten every aspect of our lives, not just for creators, not just for large businesses. I'm not talking about the job losses here. I am talking about the legal implications of AI, which are going completely unnoticed in modern businesses. Every startup today is saying we are AI powered, but are you AI governed is the question. And it's important today.
Wow. As someone who simplifies AI laws for businesses, how do you personally stay ahead of the AI trends?
I think just reading and uh, my content that I create in any case involves a lot of research. The most interesting thing is when you're coming up with the latest news, it's very easy to get swayed by the fad of it, to try it out yourself. But at that moment, if you just think about it and flip the story from a governance standpoint, I think it makes a world of difference.
Wow. So let's talk about this book which we co-wrote. How did this come up, and what has been covered in this art law ebook with Rishi Raj and Nusrat?
Yes. So when I was working for Unsuit, there was one tech product that I had conceptualized back then, and even designed the product. That was in terms of certification of art using the blockchain technology. When AI came in, I realized that AI could do a lot more, which is even being able to detect counterfeited art. And that's when I also realized that, I mean, I come from a family of artists. So I also realized that not only are there counterfeits, if you treat art as a pure investment vehicle, and this, of course, comes from the fact that I delved super deep into NFTs in the year 2021-22 and published a white paper on it, presented it at All About Music. Um, I think it becomes a lot easier now to replicate art. And we've seen that with Ghibli, right? Not just in digital art, but also in physical art. So uh, that's when the question of preserving the intellectual property of art, why it's become an investment vehicle, how it is priced, these questions started coming up. More often than not, art law is something which has been delved in from just the copyright angle, the taxation angle, the contractual angle. But for me, personally, I don't think I can ever partner a business or even an individual without going into the business. So Rishi Raj and I met at a conference, and we had a conversation, and then we met at at his gallery. And what was supposed to be an hour-long conversation about how we can work together turned into a passionate conversation of about a few hours um, on art law. And we said, let's write a book. And I did this over and above my regular work in Denton's. And we really enjoyed writing this together. A lot of brainstorming sessions, I think about 8 months of effort. And it really paid off. I think the artists, the young artists, they really like it. They really enjoy it. What we've covered here is the history of how the economics of art evolved, right? Because at one time it was the first mode of communication. Then it became a mode of oppression because the aristocrats would treat artists um, like artisans who would just be paid for their work as a lump sum fee, like a work for hire. and their intellectual capability was never recognized. And then came the Renaissance, when the art world really started recognizing the intellectual pursuit, and that led to the creations of Michelangelo and Da Vinci, etc. Come to contemporary art, and digital art has again taken us back to a time when there's an existential crisis. And yet there are experiences that come out of it. And as we move from the experiential economy to the transformational economy, I think art plays a very critical role. So I think the book covers not just the legal aspects of it, but the economics of it, insurance, taxation, the value chain of the art industry in totality, both diagrammatically and graphically, and textually, of course. And we've tried to keep it as lucid as possible. So it's a free ebook, and I hope that anyone who is an art lover, an artist themselves, enjoys it.
Wow. So, viewers out there, we'll put a link of the ebook to download. And we had Rishi had also been featured at the Coffee Con show. Yes. It was a special episode at his or art gallery.
Right.
We did in 2 parts. That is a main coffee like we are doing with you now. And there was a surprise which the Coffee Conversation team gave him, walk tour of his art gallery, which he was not aware. So Coffee gives surprises to the Coffee speakers, which adds value and creates memories for lifetime.
Wow.
So when we told him about, he placed the paintings of his choice where he wanted to speak about, where he was passionate, the sculptures, everything. And
oh, wow.
So I want to ask one question, which Rishi also, how does one, because now people are creating wealth through art.
Mhm.
So how does one include those in their wills? As I've written the book on wills, trust, and probate. So about like different assets are coming up now.
Mhm.
It's about sculptures,
Mhm.
about art.
Mhm.
So how does one go about giving it to your beneficiaries?
Oh, that's a very interesting question. And one of the aspects I really do deal with is art estate management. Just like you are putting in a real estate piece into your will, you're incorporating that. If you have a 3-storied house, and you have 3 kids, you're in all likelihood, you're giving 1 floor to each, right? When it comes to art, again, when you look at a building, each floor has a very different value depending upon accessibility, depending upon the view, etc. The same goes for art. It is a perceived value. There is no computation. There are art price indices, and Rishi himself has come up with one. But the value is essentially a perceived value, and it is linked to the mortality of the human being who's created it. So it's very important to get on board an expert to be able to predict its value. Of course, no prediction can ever be foolproof, but it's very important to assess where that value will be at a certain point of time when it will get inherited by your children, by your heirs. And then divide the estate, because we see this coming up as a massive issue even in divorce matters, in matrimony matters, where assets are being divided and they do not know what to do with the art. And that's also where fakes become very relevant. Now, just like when you're passing on property, you want to ensure that the title deeds are in place. Please ensure that your provenance of art is in place. And that's where lawyers like us come into the picture. We really focus on detecting the provenance, in doing a due diligence of the provenance. We work with subject matter experts to be able to curate that. And I think that is extremely important if you are incorporating it in your wills, and I think you should incorporate it in your wills.
Wow. Thank you for the beautiful explanation. So now, Nayona, who has influenced you personally and professionally, and what were the key learnings?
Lots of people. I think the one person who's influenced me personally at one stage of life, and of course professionally to a large extent, is my elder brother, Aditya Ghosh. He is also an ex-lawyer, and then moved on to the business side of things. But that was in my early career. I think in my present, as I've evolved, I've had multiple mentors. I think my ex-boss, Mrs. Shukla Vasan, has been a huge believer in me, and I still look up to her. She was the ex-general counsel of Hindustan Coca-Cola Beverages, um, and she's the one who helped me find my passions, who who kind of inspired me to chase my dreams and break my barriers. Um, and I think beyond that, it's also been personal experiences, and experiences that teach you how to be resilient. And by God's grace, I've had enough of those.
Wow. So, my last question for your professional journey round, for young lawyers interested in AI law, what skills or knowledge areas should they focus on? As you're now focusing on creators economy, so I'm adding both AI law and creators economy. What skills or knowledge should they focus on?
I think the most important thing is read as much as you can in general, because there is no space that AI is not touching. So if you want to focus on I think understand the other legal aspects first. So if you don't understand what is data privacy, what is intellectual property, what is product liability, how does indemnity work, AI will make no sense, because these are the broad legal implications of AI. So understand the core concepts first, and I say this even to the young lawyers whom I work with, my interns, etc. Understand the core concepts first. When it comes to copyright, go beyond the book, go beyond the. Of course, you must know the statute end to end, but the case laws is how the jurisprudence has truly evolved. So you really have to focus on the case laws, and how they have moved over time. For instance, today we talk about deep fakes, but the question of personality rights started in 1994, and it has been a phenomenal debate. In fact, this is something which we've covered in the AI Lawby as well. So one of the resources you can really look at is the AI Lawby. We're there on Instagram, we're there on LinkedIn, and we're posting content 3 times a week, every week, and it's all peer-reviewed content. So check that out and then delve deeper. That's all that I would say.
Wow. So let's go to the next round and understand Nayona as a person. Tell us about your family and your formative years, which you have told about your brother. Let's hear about the other things.
Oh, I grew up in a fairly large family, and my father has been a corporate man all his life. He's been a brands and marketing person across cigarettes, fashion and lifestyle, alcohol, all of that. Calls himself the master of vices, but I think an extremely inspirational person, because after battling cancer at the age of 65, he took up a newfound passion of photography, just had his first exhibition, learned salsa. So I think I get the spirit of life from him. My mother has been a teacher all her life, and after retirement decided to open her own studio, boutique studio. So again, the innovation comes from there. And I think that they've been real dreamers. So that's something that I've been encouraged to do. That's something that, I mean, I've always been taught to break barriers and to follow my North Star, even as it evolves.
Wow. Okay. Let's go back to your days at NLU Delhi. What was the experience and memories, and how did it shape your career?
Um, the initial experience was intimidating, of course, because we were the second batch of the university. So we've literally seen it being built. Uh, it's intimidating because you're suddenly in a room full of really passionate and extremely talented people. So uh, you're always trying to be the best version of yourself. There are insecurities, there's self discovery that's happening. But I think the best part of being in NLU was its power packed approach, which really taught me how to think as a lawyer. I don't think law school really teaches you the law because the law is evolving. It teaches you how to think as a lawyer. It teaches you how to work in high stress environments. And that's what law school really gave to me. Apart from some really close friends who continue to be my backbone at this point of time.
Wow. So you want to give a shout out to your friends for the coffee
No,
conversation show?
no.
Okay. What's one hobby or creative pursuit that helps you to recharge and rejuvenate?
It's writing poetry, it's reading, it's cooking. Yes, all of that.
Wow. So what's a fun fact or unexpected fact about you that most people don't know?
Um, Fun fact. I think the fact that I'm actually a very adventurous person. For the longest time, I think most people thought I was a complete nerd, very introverted, but I'm actually fairly adventurous. People saw streaks of that in the last few years when I've possibly taken up adventure sports and things like that. But I think I have the adventure streak in me, always trying something new, always excited by what is possible.
So what's one book, movie, or web series that has impacted you, and what were the learnings?
I think the book would be Midnight Library. I mentioned this on another podcast as well, and it is phenomenal because it really teaches you about the fact that you can always have parallel lives with the choices that you make, but there's a reason why you made the choice that you did, and and the fact that there would be cons in each of the other choices, because we as humans essentially live in regret, essentially live in dreams, but we don't live in the reality. And I think that's the one learning that comes from the Midnight Library.
Wow. So what's a common misconception about lawyers that you would like to debunk?
Oh, that we have the most glamorous job, or that it's like suits. It's not. It's really not.
Wow. So Nayana, if you had to explain AI law to a 10-year-old, how would you do it?
The law that makes science fiction real.
Wow. Suppose you had 1 week away from dealing with AI, legal work, and away from the gadgets. What would you like to do and why?
That's something I do every year. In fact, I do a complete digital detox and I go into the jungles. I love the wildlife. I love animals. I'm a die-hard dog fan, but apart from that, also I love being in nature. And I do a wildlife safari every year. So explore a new jungle, and just the sheer feeling of being in nature. I love my solo trips. So usually my jungle trips are solo trips, and absolutely adore that.
Wow. So, which one is your plan for 2025 jungle safari to go for?
I don't know. There are so many. I think possibly the Northeast. One of the Northeastern jungles, maybe Kaziranga or something.
So, my last one is a googly one. Describe Nayona in one line.
Oh, Nana is Nana is an extremely passionate and completely unpredictable person.
Wow. So, let's go to the next round, the rapid fire round, the fun round. AI regulation or AI innovation?
AI innovation.
Your go to comfort food?
Go to comfort food is my mom's fish curry.
Your favorite color?
Black.
Early morning work or late night brainstormings?
Early morning walk. Always a 4 a.m. person.
Wow. Data privacy or intellectual property?
Intellectual property.
Best piece of advice received?
Don't forget the ones who packed your parachute.
Wow. Favorite Bengali cuisine?
Uh, f- Favorite Bengali food would be prawns, prawn curry,
Wow. Tea or coffee to recharge?
coffee any day.
Okay, let's raise. So you did well, and here's your book, your gift.
Thank you so much.
Wait, as I said, we autographed the books. We know our coffee speakers will crack it and win it.
Thank
So,
you.
friends, it was a lovely conversation on the happening AI law and governance and creators economy. So all those young legal professionals who wants to be part of this exciting AI law and governance, and law firms and businesses, watch this episode. And also we covered the art law. So uh, business owners or high HNIs who have a art wealth in their assets list. Watch this, how you can incorporate, and you can connect with Nayona. Her details will be there in the YouTube captions, and there will be also the link to download the Art Law ebook. So, like this, our coffee speakers bring to the table their interesting journey, professional insights, and their personal journey also. So, like that, there are 400 plus coffee speakers episodes of the Coffee Corner Show. Subscribe and watch. There are like 8 series happening. This is one of the lawyer series. There are cybersec, there is entrepreneurs, Sri Shakti, professional, student, startup. We also have panel discussions, special episodes, a lot of actions in this 5th anniversary. So happy Easter to all our viewers out there, and we look forward to having another interesting conversation. And if we featured like Noena, who's having this in person, which in person is for few coffee speakers who are special. And
Thank you.
like that, we have gone on Zoom, 450 plus episodes, international also. So visit our website, the Emerging India Forum, or LinkedIn page, and our team will invite you to have coffee conversations. So take care, enjoy your Sunday. Thank you.